MakingStarWars.com.
Jason is here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net. You're watching the Making Star Wars show. You can become a channel member and give me $5. I'll spend it on stuff. I'll buy things. It might help the show. It might not. You could also send super chats in if you want to have your question definitely discussed on the show, and we'll do it. We're not like other shows where we're like, oh, make it 10, make it 10. No, we'll pretty much do anything for $1. But if you make it 10, we'll act like we liked it a lot. And then what else we got? Oh yeah, that's Rob and that's Bespin Bulletin.
Also, I'm also known as the Kurtzinator.
Hey Rob, you want to give the camera a little curtsy?
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah, we had this comment from somebody that was like really upset. It was like a Gary Kurtz. I don't know. Maybe it was like the nurse of Gary Kurtz, the Gary Nertz. I don't know what it was.
A nerd.
A nerd. They're like, I cannot believe what this man has done for the British film industry and how you disparage him by saying he has a pussy-eating beard. And I'm like, I meant it as a compliment. I thought it was good.
I'm just shocked that the person who complained about our take on Kurtz like got through the intro of the show and thought it was a serious show.
Yeah.
You know, all right. Props to Gary Kurtz though for inventing the name The Empire Strikes Back. Right? We can all.
Yeah.
That sequel could have been named far worse.
Yeah, and for producing 1.5 of the most classic Star Wars movies. Yeah. 1.5. Like that's not bad.
And then for showing up to work after he was fired.
Well, he got fired during Empire, and then Kazanjian takes over, and then he shows up to work on Empire. He pulls the George Costanza, which I'm sure Bestman could really appreciate. Just act like you were, hope that maybe, it was just the 60s not long ago. It was a wild night. Live and let love. That's probably what he thought. And then he showed up, and they're like, nah, go make Return to Oz and have a horrible life.
I'm not making an accusation. I'm just saying, has anyone ever lined up the photo of DB Cooper and an unshaven Gary Kurtz? I'm just saying, has anyone ever tried that?
Right. You think he just did the mustache? He's like, it couldn't be me. That guy had a mustache.
I didn't say that. I was just wondering if that's ever happened. Right.
Yeah. So we got Bespin on here for about an hour today before he has to jet off to probably some weird like love making session in the middle of the Acolyte set in South Wales or some shit like that. So we got him now.
Never happened.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you weren't built for it is what they said, but I think you'll show them.
No comment.
No comment. All right. So you did 2 articles today.
I did one today. I did one Friday.
Oh, one Friday. Okay.
Jason, I'm lazy. Do you think I'm doing 2 in one day?
No, I mean, we don't really have a lot of motivation these days to not be anything but lazy.
No, but somebody who does give me motivation is Mike Yeaney. This isn't me telling Mike Yeaney that I love him. I know it sounds like I'm going to go down that route. I don't. He's a nice guy, though. But I do appreciate him.
I'll jack him off for $10 right now.
Well, yeah, he gave me $10 at the end of the last show, but obviously the show ended, so I couldn't thank him. But I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I hate having to plug the coffee stuff. I despise plugging it because I feel awkward and poor and desperate. But
wait, you mean you hate what we are? Don't hate what we are. We're salt of the earth.
I've accepted what we are.
I mean, how can you be a man of the people if you're richer than the people? That's what I always say.
Yeah. But it's there if anybody wants to support it. So I don't know. I just feel awkward saying it.
Yeah.
Perhaps you should try a newsletter.
Maybe. Maybe.
I'm just glad Mike didn't take me up on the HJ offer. Okay, so here's we got.
He does send $10 and demand that though.
Deal's a deal.
Okay.
All right. So this is from bestmanbulletin.com, February 19th, 2024, the year of our Lord. How long will Star Wars The Mandalorian and Grogu film for? Exclusive.
Until Climate takes it.
As long as it takes. As long as it takes Jon Favreau to write one draft.
He'll have it by lunch.
I mean, you think he's a fucking nerd, dude? He's not a nerd. He's fucking cool. He was in Swingers.
He's got some food to cook, man. You've seen this chef show.
Yeah.
That's his passion.
I know. We should hang out. I think I'd eat what he cooked. All right. Last month, Lucasfilm formally announced Mandalorian and Grogu, a feature film that follows the hit Disney Plus series, The Mandalorian. At the time, Lucasfilm only shared that production on the movie, would start later this year. You guys ever drink coffee and get a little bit like an acid going? I'm getting that today. All right. But earlier this month, Production Weekly and the FTIA shared that filming on the Jon Favreau directed flick is due to begin filming on June 17th, 2024. When covering the reports, Bespin shared that he too had heard the month of June being the start of the start window. Now, I'm gonna stick up for you here, okay? Because I'm not gonna lie. If I didn't know you and I just read that, it sounds a little like, oh, me too. Like the fake leakers that are like, oh, I'm hearing it too. Now that somebody credible has said it. But he did tell me this. He did tell me all of this stuff before. I can vouch for him on this one.
I told you like that the filming had been delayed before the Mandalorian and Grogu was announced.
Yeah.
To roughly when. So
yeah. No, it was all on. It's all on.
Yeah.
I can also now add, he can now add, this guy, David Bestino. I can now add when filming is currently slated to finish. According to his sources, filming on The Mandalorian and Grogu will run from June until October, making it a 4-month-long shoot. For comparison, the last season of The Mandalorian, season 3, filmed from late September 2021 until March of 2022, a 6-month shoot. And that's just for principal photography and reshoots. Pickups did happen later on. Yeah, on Mando 3, there were like fucking 2 sets of reshoots that I know of at least.
Yeah, there was at least 2. Yeah,
at least 2. Yeah, it's probably like a bunch of pickups too. If all goes to plan, Lucasfilm will have plenty of time to get The Mandalorian and Grogu ready for a 2026 release. And on just like on a little side note, I haven't got to read the whole article. I read like the opening, this morning, and I just wanted to add. Maybe you added it in the article. If you did, I'm sorry, but I got a feeling that does sound like a little bit of a short time. So I would imagine that there will be like a month or 2 of pickups added to that as well.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. This is just principal photography, but like
principal photography, yeah.
Yeah, there's gonna the line on it is basically from principal photographies, and like it'll be about a year in post.
Yeah.
So that's October to October, maybe. Right. And
yeah.
obviously within that they're gonna that's why I mentioned season 3 is because there's a 6-month shoot, but also there's a ton of reshoots and pickups and everything that came after the fact.
Right.
But it still took a year from post-production, from the principal end to post-production finishing. Still took a year.
Okay.
So
there we go.
But if this comes out in May, then like you've got 6 months between, like a year after the film and then when it releases, so you got a lot of time.
And like when they do the television series, they're basically doing 8 little mini movies, but when they do this movie, they're essentially doing 3 acts of mini movies, if you will. Like, so it is, and then edit it up, obviously.
By the time this should finish principal photography, it has a year and a half before it releases.
Right.
Which is a fair bit of time.
Fucking
most movies don't get that amount of time.
That's enough time for ILM to do a visual effects sequence that they don't do on Disney Plus. Hopefully they actually do that, but the last season of The Mandalorian spent a year in post-production, and we assume that the same would happen for The Mandalorian and Grogu, meaning the film could be complete well in advance of the next Star Wars release date on Disney's calendar, May 22nd, 2026. Disney have confirmed that The Mandalorian and Grogu will release in 2026, but didn't specify when. But let's not forget that there was a little bit of hesitancy in the Iger's voice on that one, which made me go, what the fuck, Iger? Say it confidently. Just lie to us. All right. Even with 2 untitled Star Wars movies listed on their 2026 calendar, given that Lucasfilm and Disney have both stated that The Mandalorian and Grogu will lead their theatrical slate, you'd assume the film takes the May 2026 window, but at the moment, Disney and Lucasfilm are being non-committal publicly. It was also reported by The Insider, who's a great source for Star Wars news. And also, anything that he hears is exclusive to him, first and foremost. He's like, what's it called in Braveheart, when like the fucking first knight or whatever gets to fuck like all of the brides, like on the, he gets like, what's it called? Like,
no, it doesn't exist.
Prima Nocta? Is that what it is? Emerald Prima Docta. What is it called? Well, he has that in the entertainment industry. If you get an exclusive and he hears it too, still exclusive. Fuck you.
It's Prima Scupa, Jason.
Prima Scupa. Yeah, Prima Scupa.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the right to scoop.
Right. All right. So the whatever that guy is, the Schneider, earlier this year that The Mandalorian and Grogu would release in May 2026. The untitled Rey Skywalker movie could release in December 2026, and James Mangold's Origin of the Jedi movie will release in December 2027. Go ahead.
Jason, can you imagine the complaints on the show if Snyder went, "Hey, these guys said I had prima nocta of scoops." What do they do? I just want to hear the complaints. I want to hear it said aloud. Like that's, well, you didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I mean, what? Something comes up on Instagram first? Oh, it's exclusive to me because I'm legit. I worked for the trades, that kind of thing. Traitors. All right, so no, but he is a good source. He just is fucking weird, just a fucking weirdo. All right, one thing
doesn't check to see if he's the first or not. That's all.
No, just doesn't know how to use Google. Too fucking old for it, I guess. One thing, Jeff Snyder,
he's the same age as you, isn't he?
I know how to use Google, so I don't know what the problem is. Then you tell me. I mean, was he on Alta Vista? I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. He's not the only one, especially the last week, right? He's not the only one.
I did laugh when our girlfriends had the same name. That was kind of funny. I mean, that was
what I think is funny is when I was on the game with you guys the other day, I was like, if I'm describing a person, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, this guy's bald. He has a beard. He drops scoops. His girlfriend's name is this. Who am I talking about? Like,
Jason, that's how you get my cousin Vinny. Right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Jason walks out of the Piggly Wiggly right after or right before Snyder. Jason's going to jail, right?
No.
Right?
I wouldn't fight Yui Ball though. I wouldn't do it. I'm a lover, not a fighter.
How are we gonna know who wins or loses on the basketball thing?
Well, it's gonna be a game of horse. I told you.
I want Jason to do it on Instagram Live.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, well, and then I'll prove that he has Instagram, and that when a story shows up on Instagram, he also knows it's an exclusive.
Well, he has Instagram. He says he follows Dumar on it. Who reported the White Lotus stuff. So.
Exclusively reported a lot of stuff. Mike gave a $5 super chat and said, "I just bought an $800 plane ticket to get a $10 HJ from Jason." Hey, a deal's a deal. A deal's a deal. Okay.
The one behind that.
Is this gonna be like a central thing? You're gonna do it nice, set up a nice candlelit thing for him. We're just gonna do it behind a McDonald's.
It's gonna be aggressive, but with eye contact.
Del Taco.
Del Taco. Yeah.
What you should do is take him to the Mando set and then do it as he looks down onto the set.
Oh my god!
Now you're giving him ideas.
I felt bad. Like the other day, I took my daughter to Del Taco. Right? She wanted to have tacos. I'm like, let's do it. We get there, and then of course, kids being kids, immediately, it's like, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm like, couldn't you go before we left the house? No. Okay, I understand. All right, let's go. And then we have one restroom, and there's like a guy living in it.
Nice.
And I'm knock on the door. No fucking response. Like 5-10 minutes goes by. I'm fucking pound on the door. Like, you need to get the fuck out. My kid has to go. And then the guy has like all his shit in there. And he's like, well, she could just come in. I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? I was like, you get the fuck out of the bathroom. My kid needs to go. My kid's not going in the bathroom with you. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And then he gets in and he fucking gets out. I did feel a little bad because I kind of lost my shit, but what planet does somebody live on where they're like, no, just send your daughter into the restroom with me, a stranger in Del Taco? You fucking maniacs. All right. Anyways, one thing Jeff Snyder, the insider, has repeatedly mentioned on his podcast, The Hot Mic, is that Disney is looking to spend less on their films. For example, Snyder has shared that Disney didn't want to pay high fees for the Fantastic Four cast, and that Blade will be made for under $100 million. Or is that 100 midichlorians? I don't know. This leads him to believe this minor tidbit. I'd heard from a singular source. Sorry, best been heard from a singular. I could do this. That the budget of The Mandalorian and Grogu isn't as high as what a season of The Mandalorian would cost. So to me, what it sounds like you're essentially saying is the show is not going it's going to probably be like 3 really awesome episodes of The Mandalorian put together instead of 8 expensive episodes of The Mandalorian put together, which means what do you think we're looking at here? Like $75 million movie with maybe another 25 going into the excess 100 million.
I don't want to say anything because even if I say it's a speculation, Twitter is going to tweet out that I said it's X amount of money.
It doesn't matter.
So I'm not going to bother.
Bespin Bulletin says it's going to cost 120 million. Now I just did it for you, so say what you think.
I'm going to say 121 million, Bob.
120.
121.
But that's the world we live in. So if I say anything on this is speculation, it's going to be tweeted out.
Yeah.
As a thing, and so I'm not going to say anything where I think I have no idea. So
right here, I see that you said 15. I just see the words 15M, so 15 million. So Bespin Bulletin says it's going to cost 15 million. Tweet that out. I'm kidding. Don't do
hold on.
Okay. Oh, you're tweeting it out. Good job. Yeah, Bulletin. Yeah. Is this an excrement? Is this an excrement on X?
And an HJ, right, Jason?
And an HJ for $10. So 15.010 million
cent.
All right. Is that even right? I don't think that's right. All right. The first season of The Mandalorian was reported to cost 15 million an episode. This brings the budget to 120 for the first season. We don't know, and actually I know it was more than that because there was a lot of R&D that went into the volume and stuff. So it's actually, but point taken. We don't know if the series became more expensive with each season. You'd assume it would have, especially with season 3 in particular, and also with
COVID stuff with season 3. You know,
and at one point in this timeline, Epic says like you got to start paying us, right?
Mm.
You know, for the volume.
But also with season 3, we knew they were trying to cut budget stuff.
Yeah,
with certain like costumes, or whatever, right? Remember?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think you said that before.
Yeah, it's also been there were it was a nightmare. It's also been reported that Skeleton Crew, the coming live action series from John Watts, is the most expensive LA-based Star Wars series. The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and that one was $136 million. So with that in mind, I'd expect the Mandalorian and Grogu to cost 120 or less. So if you were to make a tweet, your tweet would read, Bespin Bulletin expects the Mandalorian to cost $120 million or less. If you say anything other than that, you're disingenuous.
If Kurt's adjusting for Kurt's inflation.
Yeah. Yeah. Kurtz didn't know what inflation was.
Well, the tweet
45?
The tweet should be just less than what a season costs. That's the information. And that's it.
Yeah. And it really, I mean, when you think about the infrastructure of the series that is set up as is already for doing at least 5 seasons of Star Wars television here, I think that's like not a bad sign. It's not crazy. It's not like, oh my God, this is just a cheap piece of shit or something like that. It doesn't have to mean that, but it also to me does say expect this movie to look like the Mandalorian television show and stop expecting Disney Plus television shows to look like the Mandalorian used to.
If we knew, which this is not happening, like I know this isn't happening.
Okay,
like if they would come into London to film this, then we would expect it to look different. We would expect it to look like what a Star Wars movie looks like, but they're staying in LA. They're gonna do it in the places they usually do it. So
yeah, the way I've been liking it off air was I'm like, they're basically making Psycho and Vertigo at the same time. You know, when Hitchcock did Vertigo, that was like a big, expensive shootout on location, budgeted film with big stars. You know, the equivalent of like a $200 million film in modern times. And then Psycho was done with the TV crew. You know, for like a $8 million budget. You know.
Oh, okay.
So, and it was he was like he wanted to prove he could do something, and you know that ended up being his most profitable film too. You know, like he had points in it and everything. So
yeah,
set him up for life. But that's kind of what I figure. They're trying to go way drastic, maybe just to see which one takes. But it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of irrelevant because it's not the budgets that are the problem. It's been the stories that have been the problem. With the Star Wars films, like.
If
Yeah,
the budget is like 120, then they can make Solo money and be fine.
Yeah.
On this.
Yeah, and also like a Star Wars property is always going to make a little bit of money going forward. Like it's a little like, pennies falling out of it all the time. So if they do keep it at a reasonable George Lucas style budget, then they're fucking golden. I like the last Indiana Jones movie quite a bit. I watched it a couple times now. So it doesn't like fucking suck. It's not like this movie fucking sucks. But the movie also, like, is it a $300 million movie? I don't know what that's supposed to look like, but it doesn't. No, that movie feels like $150 million movie, So the budget on a Disney thing, who knows what the fuck it means when they're crazy, when they're nuts. It's just, it doesn't make any sense.
If we say that the smallest amount of people, the core Star Wars fans, are the ones that went and watched Solo, right?
Yeah, that's about 400 million.
It was less. It was like 380 or 390, something around there. So if we assume that that's the core budget, like the core audience of Star Wars fans, then if Mando makes that, it's fine. Like it's budgeted in a way that he can make that. It's not like Indy where it needs to make like 750 to 800 million dollars, right? To make it profitable. Like just through the movie, not through like other sales.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is fine. This is going to be the norm for like most things, as I explain in the article. But yeah.
Well, I would, and I'm honestly like, as far as they go, the idea that their movies should cost like around that 100 million-esque point, price point overall usually. Like I'm cool with that because I think that means it's less risky for them, which means they'll take more risk with their storytelling and the kinds of projects that they'll put into like theaters. Where when, during the last phase, like the Rogue One era of Star Wars, like they really had to build consumer confidence in Disney and Lucasfilm having merged together. So if you fucked it, if you messed up, you did have to pay to make it right as best you could. But today, the verdict's out. They have nothing to gain by getting it so right anymore. They have only something to gain by making a lot and consistently and good.
But I think what you said about like they're going to take more risks, I don't think they are.
Like, not right now. That's why we got this movie. But
it's not just this movie. It's just like why we've got this movie for like Star Wars and the Rey movie for Star Wars. But Disney across the board, all the movies they're announcing is just sequels to shit.
But once what I'm saying is once they've done 4 of these movies at 100-ish million and they're making at least 500 million, that is when they're like, you know what? Let's go in, like, let's try this other thing that we wouldn't have classically done. Yeah. That's what you're right. That we know from sources, we know from the trades and so on, that right now is that they're not trying to rock the boat too much. That's why we have a Rey movie and a Mandalorian movie, 2 established characters. Essentially,
they want to reintroduce themselves back into the theatrical market as safely as possible, and they feel that these 2 projects are the ways to go.
Yeah,
some would say a safe bet.
Well, and the other thing is like. In theory, if you're doing a good job, if you're not to say if you're doing a good job, but when you are, when you're fostering talent who works on Star Wars, it should theoretically get somewhat cheaper as time goes on. Like when you start up The Force Awakens and you have like this DP and the lighting people, whatever, trying to figure out how do we get a Star Wars look, and they're succeeding and they're failing left and right. But after they've done 4 Star Wars movies, or they've done 5 Star Wars television shows, like they know how to get what they're supposed to get for that look in the film usually, right?
Grieflation, Jason.
Grieflation?
Grieflation. Jacks up the price of everything. So
Grievous. Is that when General Grievous is in charge of the economy?
I thought it was Grief Karga.
No, don't besmirch the good name of Grief Karga.
No, only Gary Kurtz on this show.
Yeah. I'm like, did that guy happen to listen to any? I had to have done Lucas and Filoni bits during that show, right, Jason? Like,
I figured it out. That guy doesn't like eating pussy, and we said that Gary Kurtz has a pussy eating beer like 20 times.
You said Gary Kurtz had a pussy.
I said Gary Kurtz had a, which I think makes him a generous and considerate lover, because he's like, I don't care if I live like a fucking Amish farmer who wandered off of his plot of land and got lost in the city and started making movies.
That was I probably made a joke like that. But I mean, but that's, it's within. It's just funny. I'm like, did he not hear me making fun of everyone? Like,
yeah.
You know what? I feel bad that I didn't make fun of Walter Murch. I like Walter Murch, but come on, Return to Oz. Come on, Walter. Really?
Channel member Skywalker Academy says we just need Kyle Newman Star Wars movie. I'm surprised they haven't done anything with Kyle, like on the television side specifically. If he's good enough for Taylor Swift, I think he's good enough for Rey. Anyways, personally, I'm happy that Disney are seemingly making their films for a more reasonable price, especially following a turbulent year at the box office. It's like going to become the new normal in Hollywood that these blockbusters would cost less than what they did in previous years. It's been reported that Universal's Fast and the Furious 11 would cost less than $200 million. That might seem like an incredibly high number, and it is, but the last film in the franchise cost over $300 million because Vin Diesel's fucking nuts. Vin Diesel's a fucking maniac. I love hearing the stories that you've told me, Bespin, about him in the production. I can't wait till we get our Vin Diesel in Star Wars. Like, that's going to be the best.
I hope so.
It's not 2019 anymore, old people, boomers, when it seemed like a new film was crossing $1 billion every few weeks. Movies and movie theaters in general are making less money than what they did pre-pandemic. With a budget of $120 million or less, it means that it's easier for the Mandalorian and Grogu to become profitable. Even if it made Solo a Star Wars money, horrible title. Solo, a Star Wars story money at the box office, it would stand to make cash. The Mandalorian had $120 million spread across 8 episodes and looked pretty good with all things considered. $120 million on a 2-hour film, obviously this is just an estimate, is more than enough in my opinion. So yeah, I think
Grogu gets swallowed by a giant ostrich and stay in its belly for the first 20 minutes. Like,
well, I think that like where the unforeseen budgeted money from a Mandalorian movie would come in would be the use of ILM, and then that budget and how it would go would depend on how fast does ILM have to work, how much are they farming out to third parties, to contractors, and so on, and
what
how
about
elaborate is
ILM? Right? They don't even need people anymore. They can just type in Star Wars movie and they get one just like that, right?
Oh, how about we start a company called EYE, Love Movies, and we do visual effects, and we're called ILM.
The minute you say you do visual effects, you just sign us up for a lot of work, Jason.
Oh, you're doing it.
I suggested we let AI just invent everything and we just step away. And,
yesterday, Rob told me he spent like, I don't know, 72 hours like drawing an animated fish like frame by frame or something years ago.
I did 5,000 frames of animation.
Yeah. So anyways, I feel like we can deliver. ILM can deliver, Disney.
He drew the fish whilst he listened to music from Greece.
Listen,
I didn't choose that. That was chosen for me.
Listen, Bestman, you're the Rick McCallum of this. Your job is to get us because you guys got to say everything we do is great and get us the cocaine. Okay. That's your official job. Yeah, and then Kathleen Kennedy will just be like, I love these guys. All right. So anyway, you go on to write. Oh, yeah.
That's how Kathleen Kennedy says cocaine.
All right, the 4th season of The Mandalorian, I have no idea what's happening with that. There's been conflicting reports regarding its status, whether The Mandalorian and Grogu is releasing in place of it as more of a streamlined season 4, or if it stands as a follow-up to a 4th season. I don't have the answers, but this time, all signs currently point towards it just being The Mandalorian and Grogu entering production in just 4 months' time. I don't see the 4th season being filmed and completed ahead of the start of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Even if it were less episodes, I think it would have we would have heard more rumblings in regards to filming on a 4th season from reputable reporters. So personally, I'm happy we're only getting The Mandalorian and Grogu. If the feature film is a streamlined version of a planned 4th season, then I'm all for it. I don't dislike the 3rd season of Mandalorian, but I feel as if the season could have benefited from a more streamlined approach. And I take the feeling with me when thinking about the possibilities regarding a 4th season and The Mandalorian and Grogu. Anyways, if there's any more updates on The Mandalorian and Grogu, I'll be sure to share them with your readers. So, yeah.
And you can go and support me in coffee and all that stupid crap.
Yeah.
I hate talking about it because I feel nervous.
Yeah. Fuck you, pay us. That's our new thing.
I need some motivational speak.
That's how you do it.
Like teachings from John Roca, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
the Outlaw could show you how to make that loot.
Yeah, that was gonna be a different show that somebody is suing over being the lead in that they weren't the lead in. I think her name was Gina Corona. I think that was her name, Gina Corona. I think it was called the Gina Corona Show, something like that. But anyways, who's Tom? Today's show is brought to you by Tom's Computer. Tom's Computer. Without it, we wouldn't have this show or access to porn. Tom's Computer.
Hey, we have phones. We have phones.
Yeah, you're fucking young. I can't see on this fucking thing. Oh, he gave me
You're
the phone
not
too.
watching on your phone?
He
did give you a phone. He did give you a phone.
He gave me the phone too.
Yeah.
So, Tom's Computer, phone sex brought to you by Tom's phone.
Jason's Nudes brought to you by Tom's phone.
We're Tom's angels, right? He's our
Tom's...
Bosley, and we're like, yeah, just give us all the toys.
I like to think he's that weird guy on the Knight Rider who like owned the truck that the Knight Rider like car came out of remember?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Remember that guy? He wasn't really in the show that much, was he, in the end?
No, he had the eye patch.
Yeah, he was weird. He kind of in my memory, he's the guy from he's not him, but he's the guy from Last Starfighter, who's like an alien who shows up in that cool car.
Robert Preston? No.
Yeah, for some reason. No, I know it's not him. No, I know. I know it's not him, but that's what my mind has said. I don't know who that is, so now it's that guy. So, anyways,
this guy was like the John Wick version of Colonel Sanders.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, Mandalorian and Grogu, like the budget stuff, I would imagine is going to be misconstrued as being amazing and misconstrued as being horrible as time.
Yeah, I'd assume they were going to like say it was horrible.
Well, it's funny because they just spent the last 6 months hearing about they got to get these budgets under control. Every fan was saying they're going to stop spending all this money on movies. You got to get these budgets under control. They're spending too much. And then the minute they announce, all right, we're doing that with Star Wars. What are you doing? You're not spending the money you used to.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't, fans, dude. They're freaking psycho.
Well, I mean, like if I don't think I doubt this will happen, but if they do manage to come out and make the movie for 120 million and it does make $1 billion, that's fucking great. Then we're back in business on the Star Wars film side. I think if that happened, they would be way more aggressive with getting films out and things like that. I think if they can make them for 120 million, it's not bad to have 2 films in 1 year at times, because I think they can weather it.
$1 billion from another Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
Of any of the ones they've announced.
Yeah.
People at Lucasfilm are going to be stood outside, and Disney are going to be stood outside Kathleen Kennedy's office chanting 4 more years. That will happen. Right.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. No, and now we don't think that's going to happen. It's Star Wars, so anything could happen, but it won't.
Yeah, I don't think any of these movies they've announced are going to make $1 billion. It's hard to make $1 billion these days.
Yeah.
Anything that has, yeah, that's near impossible these days. But one man did it.
One man did
it, and it only took him the time of making about 8 films that could have made
but he did
probably 400 million
he
each.
did it. But he did it.
Hit the guess.
But he did it.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Listen, he's the genius that went and wrote Alien on a whiteboard and added $$ sign at the end of it.
That is a good move.
That's the most baller ass move ever.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I'm pretty sure it's a move only a cokehead would make, and I appreciate it.
Mushrooms, and there's a video with him
Mushrooms.
explaining that.
If we ever get
So
a
good.
pitch to Lucasfilm, we've got to walk in and put the $ sign for both S's into Star Wars. I'd be like, this is
careful
why
about putting two. Oh, you mean at the front and the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Bespin, Ben asks, I feel like 600 million would be good, right?
Oh yeah. Like I think that'd be good for this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
I
And
think they expect more from the Ray movie or something.
Because I mean,
you're going to hear that we could only 600 million. Does this mean the end of Star Wars? You're going to nonstop with this,
Yeah, but well, I mean, The Mandalorian's been a huge success that made $0 so far. I know that you can't quantify what it made on a streaming service, not in any kind of tangible way on our end. So if the movie comes out, it's on budget, and it clears its marketing budget and its production budget, then it's fucking a success when you get down to it. And we now have it forever. That's what actually matters. But I do wonder if this sleepy year, like it's just like 2024 is like the sleepiest fucking year of movies in a decade, probably. And
well, 2020.
20, yeah, the COVID and stuff. But
yeah.
It's super quiet. And then we have like, I think Dune is going to do pretty well, and
that'll probably do around 600 million.
And Deadpool is going to do really, really well. It's like the biggest trailer of all time. Yeah. So I don't think like the culture is going to take a year off from that would go see Star Wars. I think that they will still be going. Ghostbusters probably won't do that well, but it'll probably do okay.
Wicked probably do well. Despicable Me, Kung Fu Panda, like
yeah.
There'll be some films that do,
But we're supposed to be getting a Superman movie, a Batman movie, and a Star Wars movie in the same year.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to be getting a Fantastic Four movie, a Superman movie, and a Jurassic World movie in the same month.
So. Yeah, that's crazy. That ain't gonna happen, is it? They're gonna move that shit around, right?
Which Jurassic World needs to move. That's what needs.
I think Jurassic should be the one to move, but I don't think it will.
That's a November release.
I think Fantastic Four will be the one to blink.
No, I don't. I think there's a competitiveness there.
Well, Fantastic Four is supposed to start filming in like June, July, I think. So it goes into production the latest. So that's why I think that would move.
Yeah, but they have the infrastructure up for all that,
But also Jurassic World doesn't even have a director at this point.
They don't. Right. Yeah, but we know whoever's coming in is just there to do a job. It's like what they did with Fast and Furious 10.
Yeah.
This guy just flew in and just took over from Justin Lin and just went for it. And he got it out on time and everything. It was fucking way.
That was Louis Leterrier. Or the last
that is
one.
the guy. Yeah. I don't remember his name. I just know he did
he directed
the movie.
Well, he did. No, Louis did Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and then he did Dark Crystal. Yeah.
So
the series.
Well, the point that I'm going with here is that shit until we know it's filming. I mean, I don't know. It might not make.
Don't trust anything until it's filming.
Yeah, until it's filming. It's like, but also I'm with you. I don't see how they. It would be a weird game of chicken where I think everybody would kind of lose if they did all those movies in that same.
Oh yeah, well look at this summer. That just passed. You had, Barbenheimer, and you had Mission Impossible come straight out after it. If Mission Impossible had just August to itself, I think it would have done probably like 200 million better than what it did.
Yeah,
honestly, but it was a packed summer. You had Indiana Jones, The Flash, Transformers, Barbenheimer, Mission Impossible. There's all this stuff happening within like a week of itself. It was insane. We can't have that again.
No. Especially when there's no reason for it.
But then when you look at Jurassic World, that last movie was absolute dog shit. and I can't stress how dog shit it was. But it made over $1 billion.
Yeah.
So,
we're idiots.
is Superman or
You know
Fantastic
what?
Four going to make over $1 billion? I
You know
doubt
what?
it.
Since they're already making shitty Jurassic Park films and they just want to get it done, just hire Michael Bay. He'll just do it. Right? He'll come in there, shoot the shit out of that, get it done in 30 days. He'll get that done in 30 days. Like no problems. No problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
As Drew will lose his mind.
Yeah, he'll become a fan from that day on. He won't watch all the other ones, but he'll watch that one. And he'll tell us that Steven Spielberg is shit. That's what he'll tell us.
Steven Spielberg has a lot of growing to do, is what he'll tell us.
He's not Michael Bay. He's never made a Last Night.
I want some Banosaurs. All right? Give me Banosaurs.
I kind of think that what should we expect from the Mandalorian and Grogu? And just because the movie's called The Mandalorian and Grogu, and what it sounds like it's going to be doing, I'm going to guess that essentially the movie is going to be about a father and son bounty hunting duo, and about what they're doing, about them just, and because I don't think you go, okay guys, go watch 3 seasons of 24 episodes of a television show and get to the movies. I don't think that's like how they traditionally make movies. Like they've always made Star Wars films and stuff like that to be like, oh, you could start on this trilogy. You can't necessarily start on the second film of the trilogy, but you could always start on the first of the trilogy. Like there's always a very accessible entry point and a theatrical entry point as well. And so I think that the movie is essentially gonna not pay too much attention to what's come before, but then do nods to the stuff in the series, and it's just gonna be the father-son thing, and then maybe it does end with something.
Well, yeah, I think it's gonna
something linking into the rest. You know what I mean for the hardcores.
Well, I think it's gonna start off as gonna be what season 3 set up. Again, this isn't speculation. This is just speculation.
It's the last scene. They're going to hunt Imperials.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing bounty hunter stuff, and then the big threat is gonna like come, and then they're gonna go and like do that, and it's gonna lead into the fucking the big Filoni movie. But it's gonna be accessible to the people who haven't watched the shows, but it's gonna have nods there for people who've invested the time. It's gonna be fine. It's not gonna be anything elaborate, and nor should it be.
No. If it's just, I mean, it's a terrible title.
It's a shit
The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's like SEO over creativity. That's what it feels like to me. But
to be fair, though, the plot to Star Wars, the original Star Wars, I refuse to call it, the dumb name that
it's called A New Hope. It's called A New Hope since you were like a fucking toddler. You don't get the call.
No. We always called it Star
Prima
Wars.
Nocta.
No one called it that shit till the special edition.
Emerald
Special
Docta.
edition is when they started calling it that shit.
Rob, so the latest Mission Impossible. What do you call that?
Dead Reckoning.
You're not gonna call it Dead Reckoning Part 1 because that's how it was released.
No. Call it what it's called. It's called Part 1
Yeah, it was called Part 1.
Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Yeah, not anymore.
Not anymore. But that's the Star Wars thing.
No, I didn't call it Part 1 before because it was stupid. But look, the plot to that movie is very simple. Princess is captured. Go get the princess. Bring her back. Destroy the Death Star. It's not a complex plot. Like you don't need Star Wars to be a complex plot to have everyone love it. I'm just trying to say, despite what Santa and Megan, what all them little plotters out there like to say, they want an intricate blah 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 blah. It needs to just be a fun movie at the end of the day. Like Solo suffered from way too much plot for a Han Solo movie. Like it needed to be more fun, and this would only get worse with more plot. We know Favreau's not good at that. Like we know he's not good at plot at all. He's good at what was Iron Man. He's in a cave. He gets out the cave. He becomes Iron Man. His boss tries to kill him. He beats the boss. That's it. Not a lot of plot.
Also, didn't write Iron Man.
I don't
think he's that great of a writer.
But they made up a lot of shit on the set, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I just don't think he's that great of a writer. I think he's
on set they were like a family.
Right.
That's when Jon Favreau was dancing.
Stop with the...
I will say the first person though to throw down cardboard and breakdance on the set for one of those things, that is when I buy into that bullshit.
To be Jon Favreau.
That's what Gary Kurtz did at the original Star Wars presentation at San Diego, 1976. My uncle was there. He
ripped his mustache off. And he never got it grew back.
This was before he had a nurse assistant who was with him for 20 years. Before that, he wasn't there for that, but he was one of the first cardboard breakdancers in the 70s. But he didn't have the music, so he just did it to like jive talking, right? So yeah.
I learned how to speak jive from Airplane.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Brady Bunch, right? So
all right. Yeah. So the second story, Respawn is reportedly developing a first-person Star Wars video game featuring a Mandalorian, and that's from BestmanBulletin.com. According to a new report from Tom Henderson via Insider Gaming, Respawn Entertainment, the developer behind Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Jedi Survivor, are developing a title that will see players take control of a Mandalorian bounty hunter character. According to the Insider Gaming report, players will embark on a quest to capture bounties for cash rewards. Is this like real money? Like, is it like Pokemon Go and I like show up and there's like a homeless person and I like throw down the puck and then now I've captured them and I get the money?
And now you get to use the bathroom with them.
Oh shit. The currently untitled first-person shooter video game will have an emphasis on mobility and style, according to tidbits from another reliable insider, Jeff Grubb. We're gonna grub tonight. That's what the guy on Reddit who every time a fake leaker comes out and says something, they always go, "We eating good tonight." That guy, I want him to say, "We're gonna grub tonight." Okay. Anyway, Insider Gaming added that the game is very fast-paced and that the mobility that Grubb spoke of will come in the form of Mandalorian's jetpack, which will allow players to perform various maneuvers such as horizontal dashing, vertical jumping, boot sliding, cock grinding,
so it's the
ass
Apex
rubbing
engine.
On the carpet.
They're just using the Apex. They're just using the Apex engine, right? That's
okay.
Yeah.
The report goes on to say that players will be rewarded for their stylish play, with an example being that players' health will be regenerated based on successful skills.
Kills.
Oh, kills.
Mm-hmm.
Successful kills. I'm kind of
reading. You get to break dance at first person to up your health. I mean, that is a new move.
As you'd expect with a game featuring a Mandalorian character, the bounty hunter will have an array of gadgets and weapons that reportedly include items such as a grappling hook, an enemy tagging visor, so the viewfinder, wrist rockets, and many more. The game reportedly has linear levels and will not be an open world title. We already got one of those coming, right? Neither the Insider Gaming report or the tidbits from Jeff Grubb mention the name of the Mandalorian bounty hunter players will control. It's unknown if it's a game based on the hit Disney Plus series Skeleton Crew, meaning users would play as the Mandalorian as Din Djarin, or if it's a new and original character from the game. My hope is that it's a new character. It's you, and that we get to play with Din, like we get to team up with him and like other bounty hunters, and because they have like different personalities and different quirks, and then maybe we could get different gear from those people, so that way you can make the most fun play experience. But I would expect it to be the latter, but there's been no confirmation either way.
No, I can help with this. Originally, and when I wrote the original Star Wars, the first bounty hunter I had in was Stu Pedasso. So they're going with that. Yeah.
I like George. I like that your original name for Palpatine was Cost the Shit. It's so on the nose. It's so on the nose.
Yeah.
But
I was training to write that one.
So Bestman heard from a singular person that the game would feature users playing as a bounty hunter, which is what the Insider Gaming report also claims. The untitled Respawn game currently does not have a release date or window, and the Insider Gamer report also did not share any details in that regard, though it seems at least a year or two away. Yeah, I was going to ask you, would they finish the Jedi trilogy before this even hits?
No, I don't think so.
No?
I think this comes first.
Oh yeah,
this seems way further than the third installment of that game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Also, they lost a bunch of people on the third game, right? So they're still hiring to refill those positions.
Yeah, I
Like Sting's
remember.
gone.
You just summoned
Azatru
Azatru by saying it.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, like
he's down the fire pole,
I know.
right? The Ghostbusters.
The way Azatru explained it was that people who had been at the company for a long time were promoted up.
No,
I
he
think
said they left though.
I
He
no
thought
no.
they went to like a different studio.
Okay,
then,
I remember it differently, but yeah,
some people
I'll
will
believe
get
you.
promoted, but they are like they're
Okay.
still actively seeking like people to come aboard that project.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
sure. Yeah, I
yeah.
imagine. Yeah,
But the,
I mean,
the people who were integral to the last two games, a lot of them are gone. So,
do you think this do you think that this game could coincide with the film's release? Do you think we might have like the movie and a game kind of situation coming out that we used to
I
have
mean, it's
back in the
typically
day?
what they do. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have thought so. I would assume that. That's why I said maybe 2 years, maybe in speculation, but maybe in May or June or April of 2026 this comes out. But yeah, I don't know. But hold on, is there any TV shows next year?
Star Wars shows? We have us. What do we have? We
We
have
have Andor right at the start, right?
Acolyte, Skeleton Crew, Acolyte, and
yeah, like next year we
probably
only
not
have
Mando.
Andor. We don't have Andor at the start of next year, right? We have no other Star Wars show.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because I say maybe they could coincide it with the release of a series, which is also what they've done. Obviously, they did it last year with Survivor and Mando 3. At the end of Mando 3 came out.
Right.
So maybe they could do it that way, but they might move away from that, like what they have been doing with the past games at EA. They might have to move away from that if there's no like projects releasing. They might just have to abandon that like idea that they had for many years.
Yeah. Ben says, side note, it's so funny to see like when you guys or Jeff are not releasing scoops around Star Wars, so many of those other leakers are crickets. Yeah, because it's like the game of, oh, I'm just hearing that too, which I made fun of Bespin. It sounded like even it's not Bespin at all, but that's what they do. That's how they're like they vampirically suck the blood out of the stories and make it their own.
We saw it like obviously it's a quiet time, Star Wars news in general, but there was a time where we didn't really do a lot for like a week or two, right?
Yeah,
like
just recently.
That wasn't by choice. That just happened, right? And you'd seen that there was nothing. There was just.
I'm still waiting for that Darth Maul cartoon I was promised.
I don't know, but there was nothing. There was nothing out there. I don't know. It's yeah. I mean, if we retire, you've just got Jeff at that point,
right? Yeah, the old Insnider.
The Insnider.
And like what's interesting about him is like I actually kind of like how it's set up in a way. Not it's organic. It's not like by design, but he's just like a Hollywood guy. He doesn't give a fuck about if your Emperor Palpatine has midi-chlorians in his balls in the next episode.
He doesn't even watch Star Wars.
He wouldn't even understand it if you tried to explain it to him. So he's never gonna go into the places that fucking bun sauce requires him to go into. He's not gonna do it. And then so it is kind of nice to have that separate sounding board out there. That's just divorced
but he says
from
that himself
us.
though. He says that he has absolutely no investment in Star Wars and like the Marvel stuff. So
when we see his newsletter sells, we know he has an investment in it.
Yeah, that's what they said. The only investment he has in it is like for stories. Yeah, but he has no interest in and so he thinks he can look at it objectively rather than going into nooks and crannies that we would.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's to be admired from it. Like the thing is, he'll give us a story and then we'll deep dive into it.
Yeah.
We'll know what he means by this or what it could mean.
Yeah.
So that's good for us.
Yeah.
I'm happy that he exists. I'm happy that he's like, there's another one of us that puts things out. Yeah. I just wish that he would do his research sometimes and look at if a story came out beforehand. Just like what happened with Skeleton Crew, just like what happened with the Mando becoming a movie.
Right. Well, and it's like the thing is on that kind of front is
on that battlefront.
On that battlefront, he's an established.
Said it twice. If you say it 3 times, he's gonna summon.
Battlefront.
No. Oh shit!
No, but,
Big Smalls.
what I'm trying to say is like, okay, like if Royal Fino comes out and says Boba Fett is dead in the next movie, okay, then it would get a bit of traction. People would be like, oh, somebody's saying Boba Fett dies in the next movie. But if you or I go and say it, even though he said it first, and cite him, we would still get the thing as being somewhat trusted authorities on leaks and that kind of stuff.
I thought I was best with bullshit. No, I thought
Best bullshit. Best bullshitting. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean that's
Sorry,
sometimes
I came up with that one, Bestman.
Sometimes
I know I actually came up with that myself.
Sometimes in Fortnite, there's a little bit of bullshit.
I didn't check to see if you did first. I just took that.
Go. Thank you, Collider.
Yeah, thank you, Collider, for that exclusive. But yeah, but anyways, yeah, the biggest failure in everything though is the Star Wars fans themselves who participate online in the discourse and don't know their ass from their elbow and don't keep people accountable that don't say the truth. All there really are is a bunch of people out to get you because you said something that they don't like, or they're jealous, or they're just fucking catty fucking assholes. And like, there definitely needs to be more people that are like, oh, actually this was an Acid True exclusive on the game. Like, there needs to be more of that when that shit happens. I'm tired of fighting for myself about shit that like everybody knows is going a different way. I shouldn't have to. That's why we were talking before the show, when one of these like Twitter accounts comes out and takes what's on this show so that way they could get likes, but then misconstrues.
And even when you say don't tweet
caveat
this,
yeah, don't tweet it. Or here's the caveat. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. And then they'll still do it. It's like, is it my fucking job to go and teach that person how to be a Twitter account? That's what Twitter
is now, though, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Snyder's complaining about it as well, that people are just taking what he says on the show and tweeting out as like, this is what he's reported, where he's just speculating.
Yeah.
That's just that, but that's what Twitter is. Mm-hmm. Like, it's
very
bad.
He's not complaining about that, though. He's complaining that he's just not making a salary doing that, because that's what they always did. They always took whatever he put on a site somewhere and ran it on social media. Only now he's not getting paid a salary to do it. He's getting paid a newsletter, So, that's the real complaint. If he's being well compensated, he wouldn't be complaining one bit. So.
Yeah, with this stuff, I've hit a point where, I don't know what else I would want to do. Like, that's kind of like with like the Star Wars thing. It's like, oh, infiltrate and get this from a movie. Oh, if they ever make a Kenobi series, like so I kind of set out what I came out to like do, and if it doesn't get kind of better on the like the social side, I don't really see much of a point in too much of a future with this stuff, because the actual fandom itself doesn't reward those who give the most. It just rewards some fucking asshole who's like, oh, and here's why I think women should be treated right. It's like, no shit, you fucking idiot. Yeah, people should be treated equal. No duh. But then,
we've had this conversation it's many times about the state of the fandom and our place within it. You know, like, and what we do and what we have done for years. Obviously, you much longer than I did. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's a ticking clock, really. For me, I think that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, every now and then when we talk, I always tell you, like, yeah, I mean, like, it doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, like, well, no, if you're saying as well, like, you're at a point where you're like, well, what else am I going to get out of this? Like, you've hit the things you want to do. Like, you did the sequel trilogy, you did Mando, you told everybody what Mando was going to be before it happened, and Pedro was in it, and then you went and just did all of Kenobi, so which is, the biggest series they've had.
Then, well, and I did Force Awakens. I fucking grand slam that shit. So like when I think of like the future, I'm like, do I feel that passionate about the Rey thing? I'm like, not really. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, ooh, I'm gonna get it. I want to get it.
Like, and the people need to like not misconstrue this, because I always like, even though I know I don't need to say this, I always say this to you. Like, I love Star Wars. It's my favorite franchise.
Yeah.
Like, but
easily, hands down.
Yeah, but So when you talk about like losing love for like this sort of job, that doesn't mean you're losing love for the franchise. It's just this aspect of it and like the fandom around it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel it, and we're on a similar wavelength with that, but I don't know. Like it's not
even
it's not fun.
if I was like in an alternate dimension right now, Bad Batch is coming on, and I haven't thought about it at all, and it just comes on, and I just sit down and watch it, and I go, and then I go eat some cereal, and I go about my day, and it was fine. Well, but like in this thing right here, everything is like everything is like, we're going to it. We are now there. Must dissect and like dig into it.
Not for me. Not for me. It comes out. I don't watch it. And I go about my day fine. Like it's.
But like those 2 weeks.
You're not a listener, Rob.
It's a good day.
Yeah, you're drawing Spawn, Rob. You're in a totally different. You're in a different career.
No. Hold on, Jason.
Okay.
Some would say I have a responsibility to watch this stuff, given this whole shenanigans. But I tell you,
if you're going to speak about something as an authority, yeah, you can't. You really, I mean, you can't say
because nothing is an authority. So.
I mean, there's like certain things that we know in our hearts, but I can't tell you that the last NSYNC record was a piece of shit. I know it was in my heart, but I haven't listened to it, so I cannot 100% verify it. That it is, but that's where you're coming from. But once again, might be some bangers on that NSYNC record. You don't know.
Those 2 like weeks we had where we didn't really do anything. Like we just spent all our time like
we were frolicking and filled. We were like Anakin and Padme back here.
But it was like me, you hanging out, Rob, Aztru, like all just hanging out and talking about the things we want to talk about with like no pressure or judgments or anything. It's just let's talk about Ghostbusters, and Aztru, only 4-year-olds give a shit. Like, and we talked about Star Wars and everything that goes with it. Like, but I don't know. It's just a weird place. It's a weird.
I know. I keep going in my head that like maybe the show though should be just more of a general show, like that covers Star Wars. Because I'm not down to be like, oh my God, Omega has a wrist rocket in one thing. What does it mean? And do an episode on it.
Long show
I don't give a fuck. I won't fake it. Like either it gets me off or it doesn't. I won't fake it. But so anyways, I keep going like, I wonder if we should just like redo the show and make the show like something all purpose, not something corny like we're the nerd bunch. I hate that shit. So fucking ridiculous.
I like the nerd crew though. That is fun.
Oh, the Red Letter Media sketches are hilarious. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Cool.
Very the Funko Pops. Yeah. But then I'm like, I probably would be fucking happy talking about the Ghostbusters.
We fucking talk about all these things every day anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so we talk about everything. We talk about the box office. We talk about all these games and series and films we have interest in. It's just what we do on a daily basis.
Right.
So,
right.
We need a new name though.
I know. Yeah.
Probably a new channel. Or are you just gonna switch the channel over?
I'd probably be making movies maybe or something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking, you want it to
making
be like
headlines.
No, because then it sounds like I'm like holding up banks and stuff.
Florida man.
Yeah, Florida man. California man. But anyways though,
California cast this. But
next year is going to be, I think they're going to get the bounty hunting out of their system here. You know what I mean? We're gonna have like 2 bounty hunting movies and a bounty hunting game in the next like 3 years. And
I don't know, man. Like they've been on this trip for a while. Remember that interview with Respawn before when they were first pitching a game and they were like, can you make it a bounty hunter? And they're like, no, we designed this to be a force person. Like it's ridiculous. Like
but now it's the bounty hunter's time.
Making nerds mad. I like that.
Making nerds mad online. It goes online.
Well, we gotta get this SEO going,
yeah, right. I mean, the Google needs to know it's on the internet or they'll get confused. But this might actually, though, to their credit, be a good layout because that bounty hunting kind of thing gets satiated, and then we jump towards the Rey Jedi thing. And I do think that the fandom, the pendulum seems to swing like that. They go too much Jedi, then everyone's like, "Where's my bounty hunter smuggler stories?" And then they go, and then they get that, then they go, "I just like lightsabers and mystical stuff." And
what about the hot makers?
The hot makers?
Yeah, the hot makers. What? Yeah. No. All right.
How about just maybe just like basic? How about Magic Mike, and we just do it all like we do like MIC Magic Mike, and we all do it shirtless.
Nobody wants to see that.
You don't have to show your face. You just have to show.
All three of us, I'm in the best position for this.
Yeah, you're in the best position.
Not a great position, but I'm in the best.
I don't know. Maybe for a super chat, I'll show my pink little nipple. Okay. Sorry.
Sorry. It's not a nipple if it's on your waist, Jason. That's
I mean, it's parallel with my belly button. What's the problem?
Barf.
This show is body positive.
Yeah, let's call the show Body Positive.
Body Positive. Body Rook Positive. All right. Well, we did it, guys. We did an hour of a Star Wars show. We talked about a new movie. We talked about a video game.
We got quite soft but towards the end, to be fair.
We got sad at the end. We talked about my pink little titties. I think we're good. I think we did it.
What about the hot curts?
The hot curts. Mike gave me $5. Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that, dude. I appreciate all of the channel members, such as Skywalker's Academy, for supporting the show.
What the fuck does that say?
Cascadian. Wait, what does it say?
The Bespin. What does that say?
Bespatonian. Bespatoan. I think that's like where you're from. I think that's like you're like.
It's fucking hard to say than where I'm from.
I know, and where you're from, shit does not make any sense at all. Like I remember trying to read the towns and the places when I was like covering Willow, and it was just nonsense. It's like Krugenschlag, and then it's not said that like that at all.
That's like German shit, you know.
I don't know. I'm an American, okay.
Doesn't
USA.
Want to be a German. What's wrong with German?
I don't really want to be British. Like,
I know in the 90s though, you could get an HJ 1 to 5 on the American dollar. That's what I heard. So Mike might want to. Does someone say Magic Mike? Yeah, Mike might want to keep the what's it called? What's the German money? Are they just on euros now? They're just on euros. That's not fun. That isn't fun. Yeah. What did they used to be on? Mark, like Donka or something? Oh, Mark.
Like I don't know. It's just somebody told me before that over here I eat like something called like a kebab, right? And I was told over there in America it's called a euro. Is that what is that a thing?
Are you talking about euros? Yeah. So they here they don't call them here. A kebab would be something on like a skewer.
Yeah.
But a doner kebab is like a pita or a bread with
Yeah.
But gyros over here are generally with pita, not with like a bread or flatbread. So
I get it with like.
Yeah, some people call them gyros. They call them gyros. And it reminds me of Rob the Robot's little gyro spinning things whenever I hear it, but they're called euros, right?
No, there's a really good doner kebab place in Seattle. It's the best I've had outside of Germany. Like, so yeah.
This is only America that calls them like euros or.
Let's have a doner party.
Yeah, I think it's just America.
A doner kebab party.
Yeah.
We'll watch it live.
We reinvented the Baconator too, so you gotta.
That's true. I mean, it's good. It's good. I like it. But before we go, I was told that only 65-year-old men eat fish fillets at McDonald's, but you did.
Oh,
and it sounded good. I was near McDonald's and I went grocery shopping. I was like, you know what? I went grocery shopping, but I don't want to cook. So I'm like, just did all this fucking grocery shopping. And so I go, and when I get home, I open up the fish fillet and I take a bite, and cognitive dissonance just immediately floods my brain because they gave me the crispy chicken patty on the fish fillet with the cheese and fish sauce, the tartar sauce all over. It was the most ridiculous sandwich I ever got in my life.
I thought you were joking about that. I didn't think you actually told it.
No, that really happened to me.
I thought you're just making an old people joke.
No. I was like, every now and then I'm just like, a fish fillet sounds good, and I went with it. But do I go back and say, hey, like I came here yesterday and you guys gave me the fucking most ridiculous order?
Host. You got to do it right there.
Because I was in line for 30 minutes. They don't even
do that, Rob. Right? Like I had a burger from McDonald's like last week, and it wasn't in the bag. I went back. I told them it was not in the bag, and they made me buy a fucking new one.
They made you buy it?
Yeah.
Why'd you
buy it? They were supposed
to
give me the Frank's hot sauce McSpicy burger, and it wasn't in the bag with the other food I had for like family, and they were like, "Well, you got to buy a new one." so
yeah.
So if you took it back right there, like they might have said no.
They're like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Fuck you. Well, McDonald's, bitch. What are you gonna do?
Yeah. What are you gonna do? I mean, people get mad at McDonald's and vow, I'm never coming back here, but you always go back. They're like the ex-girlfriend with the.
Don't shake your head, Rob. You've been at McDonald's again.
Yeah, you just ate there the other day. You texted me and said
first
you had
time in 10 years.
You probably just forgot. Again. You probably just forgot.
I was really stressed out. It was the only thing near where I was at. So I had good cause. It wasn't like I'm gonna go get that breakfast. I really wanted a really great breakfast burrito, but that drive was too far from where I was at. So
yeah, I don't like breakfast at those places anywhere.
I don't like breakfast in general.
Strangely, I like biscuits and gravy at diners though. That's just like something. I don't ever have it, but that's what I like when I do have breakfast. But all right, well, we did it, guys. Hi, KG. Bye, KG. We'll be back. If there's any news, we'll definitely be back this week. If there's any more news,
maybe we just call it Making Nerd Wars, right?
No,
we could just
no, because then it sounds like I'm like, oh, this person said this about this person.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Jeff Snyder in a like a fist fight with
where's the beef?
John Campia.
Yeah. I would pay to watch that though. It would be like that one scene in the Quentin Tarantino movie. We'd be like, gentlemen, all right, you nerds. Now I want you to fight and see who Scooper is better. And maybe something like that.
Not Scooper.
I don't think anyone wants to hear our opinion about other stuff.
No,
I get told that. I used to get told that when people listen to my podcast and we did non-Star Wars stuff.
Yeah,
but the people who stuck around every week, they weren't that vocal, so I think they just accepted it.
Yeah, those are like the people that like look at the person they're dating and saying you're just supposed to suck it and not talk to me. That's essentially like what that person is. Who cares what they have? Yeah, fuck them. They don't. I don't like that whole thing of, oh, I come to you for this one thing, therefore you only do that one thing. It's like, nah, I'm not here to I'm not McDonald's, okay? I'm not Burger King. I don't make it your way. I don't give a fuck.
I tweeted out one of the last episodes of the podcast I did, because I haven't done it in months. I tweeted out the link to it and was like, this week we're talking about this, this, and this. And some guy was like, ew, I thought you just did Star Wars. And I was like, no, this is like everything else. Is like, that's disgusting. I'm
also do your mom.
You.
That's what that was the right answer. Yeah. We also do your mom. That's what you have to say.
Yeah.
We can name the show that.
Your mom. We do your
we
mom.
also do your mom. Yeah.
Yeah. 3 guys who banged your mom. How do you fight with us at that point? It's like, shut up, banged your mom. You could shut your face. That scoop is true. And Rob banged your mom.
I'm married. I can't. Don't.
Well, no, but back in Germany. when the hero
my wife doesn't know where the jokes start and stop sometimes. She only hears half the conversation, so don't get me in trouble.
I know. Your wife doesn't even know that we always just disagree with you and we're probably on her side.
Yeah, she thinks it's like we're all agreeing. And
no, it's
she needs to come on the headset one day and listen to the insanity.
She doesn't understand that I'm your work wife on a job you don't even get paid for. It's terrible.
Sounds like
for
most
you.
of my jobs. To be
it's terrible.
Honest, being an artist is kind of like
that. Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see.
We need a name. We need an all-purpose name, folks. Whoever comes up with the name will get a prize.
And then makes us think that we came up with it, so that way we accept it because we were all such narcissists.
Don't I owe somebody something for? Yeah. The problem is those people who left comments on that interview thing I did don't have their names that are here and their names on the post. So I'm confused over who was the first one. Was it Mike Yearney? Was he the first one?
Yeah, Mike was the first one, and then you said it had to be quality, but we don't even know what Mike said if it was quality or not. So Mike
but I
might
didn't
have
stipulate that first, so now I'm like,
Mike might have been like, what you must understand is that with the current state of inflation, Gary Kurtz is a fucking idiot who does not know how to produce films. And the problem is that with the
well, what I'll
producer
do is I'll make something and I'll just post a link as a reply to their comment, and whoever wants to watch that can have fun with it. You know.
So what are you gonna make?
What
are you gonna make?
Come on, man. You know I can't get that out here. It's top secret stuff, dude. Talking about.
I'm just gonna wing it, ain't you?
Are you gonna buy one of those?
Yeah, I'm really gonna plan the whole thing out. There's gonna be
Rob is gonna buy
production.
one of those dildo kits where you could like make a mold of your own dick and then turn it into a dildo, and then
that's called the Empire Strikes Back's Play-Doh Fun Factory, dude. You know what I mean? Like, if you know how to do it right, you could make Han Solo in the shape of your own dick. Like, if you know what you're doing.
So what I'm gonna do with mine is I'm gonna mold it, and then I'm gonna take the Dengar figure and just put like the Dengar's face in the mold, so it's just right there on the head as Dengar's face. Like, okay, it works in my mind. Anyways, we will be back pretty soon. I don't have an ending to the show, so we're gonna start the show. We're gonna end the show. We start the show.
Somebody to sing Grease songs for the end of the show.
Yeah, can you do it?
No, I was hoping Rob would do it.
Go Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning, go Grease Lightning, go. Wait, that's Speed Racer. Cool.